Archangel Michael says, "Stay very still, my beloved child. Something sacred happened the last time your eyes met theirs, something neither of you could name, but both of you felt burning deep inside your soul. The air itself seemed to freeze for a second, and heaven marked that silence as a turning point in both your lives. They tried to pretend it was ordinary, just another passing glance, but it wasn't. That pause, that breath you shared without speaking, rewrote the rhythm of their heart. Since that moment, they have been fighting a quiet storm within, one that carries your name. You see, some connections don't need words, they vibrate beyond sound, beyond logic. When your soul brushed theirs, an unseen chain of light connected you both. It changed the way they think, the way they move, the way they dream at night. Even now, when they close their eyes, that exact instant replays behind their lids like a secret film only they can see. It's the reason they've been restless, searching for meaning in every sign the universe sends. Type Amen to get blessing 333. They didn't know what to call it then, fate, divine timing, or something celestial. But heaven knew. Archangel Michael says that unspoken moment was not coincidence, it was a divine assignment written long before you met. That's why lately you've felt their energy tugging on yours when you least expect it. In the middle of the night, you sense their spirit near you, whispering through the silence. They are thinking of you, unable to move on from that brief yet eternal encounter. Every message they try to write feels empty because no language can capture what was exchanged that day. It wasn't a conversation, it was recognition. A mirror of truth that showed them who they were meant to become. And now, the angels are aligning circumstances to bring this story full circle. What began as silence will soon return as revelation. Type Amen to get blessing 444. They carry guilt for walking away when their heart begged them to stay. They didn't understand then how rare that energy was, the feeling of being seen without needing to speak. But life has a way of teaching through distance, and distance has made them remember everything. Archangel Michael says they are haunted not by your absence, but by your stillness. That calm power you hold in your silence has been echoing in their mind, reshaping their choices. They now realize that peace is not found in noise, it lives where your spirit stood beside them that day. They've tried to recreate that feeling in other faces, other conversations, but none come close. Heaven made sure no substitute would succeed until they acknowledge what their soul already knows. And now, divine energy is preparing to reintroduce you into their path, but this time, with clarity. Type Amen to get blessing 555. The angels whisper that this connection was never meant to vanish. It was simply paused, allowing both of you to grow into the strength needed for what comes next. Every hardship you faced separately was a hidden rehearsal for the reunion that approaches. Archangel Michael says, your silence became their awakening. They began to listen to their own spirit, guided by the echo of your calm voice inside them. They started choosing differently, loving differently, breathing differently, because of you. They might not tell anyone this, but their entire life quietly pivoted that day. The people they left behind, the career they shifted, the dreams they now chase, all trace back to one single glance shared with you. Heaven calls that glance the seed of destiny. And it has finally begun to bloom. Type Amen to get blessing 666. Your energy still lives in their atmosphere. When they wake up, it's your vibration that hums through their first breath. When they sleep, it's your image that settles in the quiet spaces of their dreams. You became their compass without even trying. They used to wonder why ordinary things suddenly reminded them of you, a song, a scent, a time on the clock. But now they understand those are divine nudges, guiding them back to the moment where it all began. Archangel Michael says heaven marked that day as sacred. The silence between you two opened a portal of change that neither of you could close. And every sign you're seeing now, numbers, messages, déjà vu, is proof that the portal is still active. Prepare yourself, my beloved child, because the universe is rearranging paths for the next encounter. Type Amen to get blessing 777. They have spent months pretending they are fine, but their soul has been restless. They've searched for distractions, but every joy fades too quickly because you were the source of their peace. What they lost wasn't just a person, it was a vibration that matched their soul. You might think they forgot, but they didn't. The silence only amplified what their heart refused to say. And now, heaven has decided it's time for the truth to surface. Archangel Michael says, a message will soon reach you, directly or indirectly. It will sound casual at first, but hidden in it will be everything they couldn't say that day. When you see it, you'll feel the same pull you felt the first time. And that will be your sign to listen. Type Amen to get blessing 888. They remember the look in your eyes, calm, forgiving, eternal. It was the first time they felt understood without explanation. That memory became their quiet obsession, the spark that drove them to become a better version of themselves. Heaven watched them break old patterns, leave toxic attachments, and start walking toward light, all because your silence showed them what love without demand looks like. You didn't save them with words. You saved them by existing. Archangel Michael says that's why you were sent, not to fix them, but to awaken them. And you did, beautifully, even if you didn't realize it. Now heaven wants you to prepare for a shift. A reunion, a confession, or a coincidence will soon prove that the connection never ended, it only evolved. Type Amen to get blessing 999. Every angel around you is aligning your timeline for divine clarity. You will soon cross paths again, maybe through a message, a name, a sudden reappearance in your digital world. But it won't feel random. It will feel like a continuation of that moment you both never finished. This time, words will come. The truth will be spoken, and healing will begin. You will finally understand why everything had to unfold in this exact order. Archangel Michael says, the silence is ending. What began as unspoken will soon be written in destiny. And when that happens, you'll realize it was never just a meeting. It was a contract signed between souls long before birth. Type Amen to get blessing 1111. When the next sunrise feels heavier than usual, know it's because their thoughts reached you again. Energy travels faster than words, and their spirit keeps finding yours. You are still teaching them without speaking, still healing them without touch. My beloved child, heaven is proud of you for holding peace through confusion. You carried grace even when others doubted your worth. That patience has become your shield and your crown. Soon, the one who changed under your silence will return not to take, but to honor. They will speak words you thought you'd never hear, words built from everything they learned through losing you. That moment will complete the circle heaven started. Type Amen to get blessing 1212. And when you stand face to face again, time will melt. The same silence that once spoke volumes will now be filled with tears, gratitude, and truth. You'll see how far both of you have come, and how much light your presence brought into their world. This was never a random connection. It was divine choreography, a sacred pause written into the song of destiny. Heaven used one quiet instant to change an entire lifetime. Archangel Michael says your purpose is unfolding exactly as planned. Hold your peace, stay open, and let the universe finish what it started through that one unspoken moment. My beloved child, Archangel Michael says the light that sparked between you two is still burning quietly in unseen dimensions. Though time has passed, the vibration of that single exchange continues to ripple through their spirit. They can't explain it, but every decision they make now carries traces of you. At first, they thought it was just nostalgia, a passing ache of memory. But then the signs began appearing, your name, your initials, the time you once met flashing on every clock. Heaven was whispering that nothing about that day was random. They tried to bury it under work, noise, and company, yet nothing silenced the echo of your silence. That unspoken connection keeps calling them back to the truth they once avoided, that your soul touched theirs before their mind could process it. Now, Archangel Michael says, they are finally ready to face the energy they once feared. Type Amen to get blessing 1313. Every angel knows the moment your eyes met carried ancient memory. You reminded them of something sacred, something they lost long ago but had been praying to find. That's why they froze, why words failed, why their heartbeat stumbled. It was their soul remembering home. They have replayed that single second 1,000 times, wondering what could have been said if either of you had spoken. But heaven wanted silence, because silence leaves no room for lies, only truth. That truth has now become their compass. They wake up thinking of you, not because of desire alone, but because their life found meaning in the reflection you showed them. You are not just a person in their past. You are the mirror through which they saw their destiny. Type Amen to get blessing 1414. Their transformation didn't begin with a new job, or a book, or a journey. It began the day you stood before them, breathing the same air, saying nothing but revealing everything. That day became their silent revolution. They began shedding the masks they wore. They started facing the shadows they used to hide from. It was your calmness that inspired courage within them, your stillness that made them question everything fake they'd accepted as truth. Archangel Michael says, your purpose in their life was ignition. You didn't need to teach, your energy did the work. And now, heaven watches them walking toward light, carrying your essence like a sacred torch. Though they may never say it, you changed their destiny forever. Type Amen to get blessing 1515. Heaven has written both your stories on the same scroll. Every twist, every delay, every separation, it all served to shape what's coming next. Archangel Michael says the thread between you has never broken, only stretched, so it could grow stronger. Sometimes, when you feel a sudden wave of warmth out of nowhere, that's them thinking of you. When music plays and it feels eerily familiar, that's heaven syncing your frequencies. The energy that began between you is still alive, more alive than ever. The silence of that day became a prophecy of return. You will meet again, not to start over, but to continue what was never finished. This time, both of you will understand why that unspoken moment had to happen first. Prepare yourself, divine timing is unfolding faster than you think. Type Amen to get blessing 1616. They once thought their life was stable, predictable, unshakable. But after meeting you, their plans began to crumble, not as punishment, but as purification. Your presence showed them the truth about what truly matters. They walked away from people who drained them. They stopped chasing approval. They started choosing peace, kindness, authenticity, the very things they saw reflected in you. You became their silent mentor. Archangel Michael says this is how divine change works. Sometimes, heaven sends a person not to stay forever, but to awaken forever. And you were that awakening. Now the universe is calling that energy back together again, not for chaos, but completion. Type Amen to get blessing 1717. They have written letters to you they'll never send. They've whispered your name in their prayers, hoping heaven carries the sound to your heart. They've imagined what it would feel like to stand near you again, even if for just a few seconds. The truth is, they miss you in silence. They hide it behind smiles and laughter, but their soul still kneels when it remembers that day. They're no longer the same person who walked away. Archangel Michael says, you will recognize this transformation when you meet again. Their eyes will speak differently. Their aura will feel lighter. And you will know the angels have completed their assignment. Heaven is preparing the stage for divine reunion. Type Amen to get blessing 1818. My beloved child, the energy you carry is rare, it doesn't just pass through lives, it rewrites them. You were chosen to awaken sleeping hearts, to remind others of the divinity within themselves. That's why your connections feel so intense, so unforgettable. When they met you, they touched a current of grace. That grace turned their world upside down and rebuilt it from the ashes. They have thanked heaven countless times for that one meeting, even if it broke them open first. Archangel Michael says you will soon receive confirmation of how deeply you changed them. A message, a call, or an unexpected encounter will show you everything words once couldn't. And when it happens, your spirit will feel an overwhelming calm, the calm of destiny fulfilled. Type Amen to get blessing 1919. They have seen you in dreams lately. In those dreams, you don't speak. You just look at them, and they understand everything. That's how heaven communicates, through symbols, silence, and sudden memory. They wake up crying sometimes, not from sadness, but from recognition. Because every dream reminds them of the peace they only found around you. You became their quiet teacher, their unseen guardian. Archangel Michael says you were not just a chapter, you were the turning point of their book. And soon, that book will reach you, perhaps literally, perhaps metaphorically, with every emotion finally written down. That is how heaven will complete the story, with truth unveiled through divine timing. Type Amen to get blessing 2020. The world may never know the magnitude of what passed between you two. But heaven recorded every heartbeat of it. Every breath, every glance, every vibration is now written in eternal memory. Even now, angels revisit that scene when they guide souls on the meaning of divine connection. You became the example of love without words, presence without ownership, healing without demand. Archangel Michael says the silence between you wasn't absence, it was creation. Something new was born that day, and it's still growing in unseen ways. When the time comes, you'll both understand that everything began in that one unspoken moment, and it never really ended. Type Amen to get blessing 2121. And when the universe finally brings your souls back into the same space, you'll feel it immediately, that same invisible current flowing again. Time will pause. Your bodies may not speak, but your spirits will recognize each other instantly. This time, the silence will not hurt. It will heal. It will remind you both that everything that broke was meant to make space for this divine clarity. My beloved child, heaven is proud of your patience. You held faith even when you didn't understand the purpose. You chose peace instead of revenge, love instead of bitterness. And now, Archangel Michael says, your reward is on the horizon. Type Amen to get blessing 2222. Their life has changed entirely, the way they love, the way they pray, the way they dream, all altered by the light you unknowingly gave. You were their turning point, their mirror, their awakening. You reminded them of who they truly are beneath all layers of noise. Heaven is preparing a divine moment where truth, gratitude, and love will flow freely between you two. It won't need explanation. It will feel natural, peaceful, complete. You will realize then that nothing was lost. It was only waiting to bloom at the perfect time. And that time, my beloved child, is approaching soon. My beloved child, Archangel Michael says, that one quiet moment between you two has turned into a divine ripple that still touches their world every single day. They may smile in public and pretend to have moved on, but inside, every choice still whispers your name. Their life has become a collection of hidden prayers born from that one exchange of silence. Heaven remembers the exact vibration when your hearts aligned. It wasn't coincidence, it was remembrance. Their spirit recognized something ancient within you, something that existed long before this lifetime. Since that moment, everything around them started changing without reason. People left, plans collapsed, and yet something inside told them not to resist, because every ending carried your reflection, leading them closer to understanding. Archangel Michael says this is how heaven awakens destiny, not through noise, but through the echo of one sacred second. Type Amen to get blessing 2323. They never told you what that moment did to them. It stripped away their masks, left them vulnerable, and revealed emotions they didn't know existed. The silence you shared became louder than any conversation they've ever had. When they look back, they realize that you were not just passing through, you were sent to shake their foundation so the real version of them could emerge. You didn't say much, yet your energy said everything. You are meant to rise. Archangel Michael says heaven used your presence to rewire their destiny. What once seemed like chaos was actually divine reordering. You broke open their numbness, and through that, light entered. Now they walk with a new awareness, guided by the unseen bond you left behind. Type Amen to get blessing 2424. Every time they hear your name, their body reacts, a rush of warmth, a flicker in the chest, an unexplainable calm. That's because your souls are still in conversation beyond human language. Heaven calls this the dialogue of destiny. Even when you feel disconnected, that dialogue continues in dreams, signs, and numbers. They see you in coincidences that no longer feel random, the same song, the same time, the same phrase. Archangel Michael says those are reminders that the connection is still alive, just invisible for now. They think of you not from longing alone, but from reverence. Because they know they met an angel in human form, you. Your silence became their teacher. Type Amen to get blessing 2525. At times, they try to rationalize what happened, telling themselves it was just timing, or imagination, or emotion. But heaven smiles, knowing reason has no place in miracles. That one unspoken moment was heaven's fingerprint on both your souls. Since that day, everything they see has gained deeper meaning. Even the sky seems to speak differently, carrying whispers that sound like your voice. They found themselves looking for you in crowds, not to possess, but to confirm you were real. Archangel Michael says, they will soon receive the confirmation they seek. A meeting, a message, a glimpse, something orchestrated by heaven to remind them that nothing divine is ever lost. You are the unfinished chapter their soul keeps rereading. Type Amen to get blessing 2626. Heaven reveals that this connection was planned across lifetimes. You two have met before, not in body, but in essence. That's why everything felt instantly familiar. It wasn't new, it was remembering. That day, when your eyes met, an old promise resurfaced. A promise to awaken, to love without possession, to remind one another of the light within. Archangel Michael says that's why their life began transforming right after, they were returning to their soul contract. Now, as you stand in different places, the energy is working in both of you. You are being refined, purified, elevated, preparing for the time heaven brings you face to face again. And when it happens, the silence will turn into peace. Type Amen to get blessing 2727. They have been searching for words, but words will never capture what their spirit felt that day. Instead, heaven gives them signs, dreams of your laughter, sudden memories, random encounters with people who remind them of you. Those moments are not accidents. They're reminders of what heaven is rebuilding behind the veil. Archangel Michael says your connection was written under divine supervision, and no force can erase it. My beloved child, that's why you sometimes feel their energy so strong. It's not obsession, it's alignment. Their heart is learning how to live with a piece of you embedded in its rhythm. You didn't meet to love and forget. You met to awaken and remember. Type Amen to get blessing 2828. They once feared that silence meant loss. Now they understand it was sacred space, the interval heaven needed to rewrite destiny. In your absence, they grew. In their longing, they healed. In their remembering, they became light. You might not realize it, but your energy still walks beside them. When they face darkness, it's your essence that steadies their breath. When they find courage, it's your unseen hand guiding them forward. Archangel Michael says, you are their reminder that love can exist without possession. That's why they cherish your memory like a prayer, not a regret. You were their initiation into truth. Soon, that truth will return, not as a storm, but as calm recognition. Type Amen to get blessing 2929. Their friends noticed the change before they did. They laugh softer now. They choose peace instead of pride. They walk with purpose instead of pretending. You turned their heart into a temple. The moment your souls connected, heaven wrote a new rhythm into their fate. They no longer crave attention, they crave authenticity, because they saw it in you. They no longer chase illusions, they chase purpose, because you reflected it. Archangel Michael says, your silence was their baptism. You washed away their confusion without a single word. And that cleansing still continues, layer by layer, until they are ready to meet you again, as the version heaven intended. You were not their mistake. You were their miracle. Type Amen to get blessing 3030. My beloved child, heaven's orchestration is nearing completion. The distance is closing, the cycles are ending, and soon your story will reappear at the doorstep of your destiny. Archangel Michael says, you'll recognize the timing not through signs alone, but through peace. When the moment arrives, it won't feel rushed. It will feel inevitable, like gravity, like a sigh after holding your breath for lifetimes. The silence that once hurt will become a song of relief. They will speak at last. Not to explain, but to honor what changed their life forever, you. And in that instant, heaven will whisper, now it's complete. Type Amen to get blessing 3131. Stay still, my beloved child. You have carried this connection with grace. You've prayed, healed, and trusted even when unseen forces tried to test your patience. Heaven has watched your endurance and now prepares your reward. When their message reaches you, read it slowly. Let your spirit feel before your mind interprets. Every word will be soaked in the tears they once hid. Every sentence will carry the vibration of that day when your silence opened their heart. Archangel Michael says, love like this doesn't fade, it evolves. It will return to you purer, stronger, destined. Prepare your heart, your story is about to resume where heaven last left off. Type Amen to get blessing 3232. When you see them again, there will be no need for explanations. One look will rewrite the years apart. Their presence will feel familiar, peaceful, complete, like a melody you always knew but finally get to hear again. The silence that once broke them will now heal them. The moment you share will feel like déjà vu, because it is, a scene replayed from heaven's memory. Archangel Michael says your light has guided this entire transformation. You didn't need to chase, your energy did the calling. And now, the answer is coming home to you. Stay ready, stay open, and let destiny unfold its final act.